Well, hello and welcome back to another installment of a music lesson as we're going through these different enrichment studies. I wanted to today introduce you to major and minor seconds. What is a major and minor quality when we're looking at intervals of seconds? Our last lesson, the first lesson, we looked at general intervals, and we were able to identify what unison through octave meant, right? Seconds, thirds, fourths. So if you want to go back and look at that lesson, you're welcome to do that. This one, however, is going to focus on seconds. What is a second? What's a major? What's a minor? Well, the bottom line is a minor second is a half step, a major second is a whole step. Our next lesson is going to look at building scales, major scales. In order to build a major scale, we have to know what whole steps and half steps are. And so today, let's flip the screen over. I want to take you back to musictheory.net, which is where we often will go in giving different instruction for this type of theory work. So next lesson, as I said, we'll be taking a look at major scales. Major scales are built on a series of whole steps and half steps. Well, before we can get there, we have to know what a whole step and a half step is. So today we're going to be able to understand what the difference is between the two. We're going to have a visualization using a piano keyboard to visualize what these whole steps and half steps are. And then you're going to have a chance to practice it today as well. So here's a piano keyboard. I just want you to envision that piano keyboard. I think it's the best visual display of our music and the notation that we use, in that the white keys are your natural notes, and the black keys generally represent sharps and flats. Well, in this case, they will always represent sharps and flats. We will also find sharps and flats sometimes falling on white keys, but that is like way advanced. We won't worry about that right now. Just generally speaking, natural, and the black keys are our sharps and flats. So let's move ahead. When we're looking at a piano keyboard, you'll see that the black keys are grouped in threes and twos. And that would be true if you saw the entire keyboard laid out in front of you. You'll see all these groupings of threes and twos, triples and doubles. To the left of the doubles will always be a C. I love music when we can say always, right? To the left of the doubles will always be C. This is an octave lower on the C. The C is an octave above that one. We can continue to go up. This would also be a C because there would be a set of doubles here. So that's also a C. To the left of the triples, an F. Great references. Now you'll notice that there are some places on the piano keyboard that do not have black keys. And so these are naturally occurring half steps on the piano keyboard and in our music. So here with a black key, that would be a half step. From this C up to that black key is a half step. That's a C to a C sharp. If we raise the C, we get a C sharp. We can go up one more key, and that's a D. C, D. So it follows the alphabet, by the way. C, D, E, F, G. And then we start over on A again. A, B, C. Notice that we ended to the left of the doubles. D, E, F. Notice we landed to the left of the triples. So whole step is nothing more than two halves. A whole cup of water is 2 half cups of water put together. So a half step, C sharp, another half step up to a D. This is a whole step. The D, we can take it up 1 half step and call it a D sharp. So a D to a D sharp, half step. D sharp to an E, half step. D to an E, whole step. Well, here's that naturally occurring half step. An E to an F is only a half step. There is no black key in between the two. E to an F is a half step. There's another naturally occurring half step, falls right between the B and the C. So now you're going to have a chance to practice this. I just wanted to give you this idea of how that piano keyboard lays out. Again, it's just a great visual representation of what happens with the notes in our music. So if we flip over here to another tab, notice I have 2 tabs set side by side. You're going to want to bounce back and forth in the beginning between the two. So this I found, by the way, I didn't show you where I found this one. It is under the music lessons, and it's right down here on the major scale. There's tons of lessons here, as I pointed out last time, but the major scale is where I found that piano keyboard lying right next to a staff. We're going to use this tab, this particular lesson, in our next video. But let's come down, open up a new tab, and then come over here to interval identification. This is the same tab that we went to last time. Now, I've already set this up under the settings so that I can have just a minor second and a major second. The way I did that, going into the settings, first you can select the clef you want to work with, whether it be bass or treble. Then you can change the range. And again, I showed you how to do that last time by opening that, and you can raise the bottom note or lower the top note. In the beginning, it was set up like this. This is probably how you will find yours initially set up, but I wanted to go from a middle C, which is the C right below a treble staff, to a G resting on top. That will give us plenty of range to work with and practice our seconds. Key signatures, this initially had 5 key signatures selected. I wanted only to use natural, which is a C major or A minor key signature. No sharps, no flats. Display mode is harmonic. You can check melodic if you would like. It just separates the notes and it will play them either simultaneously in harmonic or one at a time in melodic. You can mix it up in both if you want. Require the quality. Now, when I first selected this, the intervals had every one of these checked. Well, that's too much to start with. We just want to know what is the difference between a minor second and a major second. So under your settings, under intervals, you'll need to go in and click all of these off except minor second, major second. And difficulty, it's only major seconds and minor seconds. Difficulty isn't going to matter. And so then you can come over and we can begin the practice session with this. So it's asking us, is this a major second or a minor second? Major simply means whole step. Minor means half step. So we can see that this is an E to an F. If you remember when I pointed out on your piano keyboard, an E to an F has no black key in between it. So that's our minor second. Now, how did I find that E to the F so quickly? 2 ways. You can either remember that to the left of the triples is an F, the E is right below it, or you can always start with C and just work your way up. C, D, E to an F. That's a half step. It's a naturally occurring half step. Since it's a half step, we would call that a minor second. And it plays that minor second, and minor seconds have a lot of tension in them. If you watch a lot of scary movies, you'll hear a lot of minor seconds being used. It's a scary sound. It cries for resolution. Now, we have a B to a C sharp. Some people will look at this and ask me, well, what is that sharp sign? What does it belong to? Which of the notes? Well, the center of the sharp sign, of course, is over the 3rd space of the staff. That's the C. You will always see groupings of notes. When they're grouped together like this, it means to play them simultaneously. They simply can't stack one right on top of the other. They overlap. But because they're right next to each other, they're touching. They want them to be played simultaneously. Because of that, that sharp won't fit anywhere else, so they place it in front of the note cluster. C sharp, B to a C sharp. Is that a major or a minor second? Well, as we're beginning to learn this process, we can look back over here and find the B and the C. Here they are. Remember that a B to a C is a naturally occurring half step. So the B to a C is a half step. Now it's a C sharp. That's another half step. Hence we have a whole step. B to a C sharp. 2 half steps. That's a major second. Now, if you remember, nothing happens if you just guess at it and it's wrong, other than it turns red and it'll wait for you to identify the correct one. This is not a minor second. An F to a G, we find the F to the left of the note cluster, the triples, F, F sharp, G, or G, G flat, a lowered G, G, G flat, F. So the G flat and F sharp key are the same. So in this case, an F to a G. F to a G is a major second. It's a whole step. And there we have it. Now, you can run right through this and you can guess at all of these different notes and these different intervals and just guess. But that doesn't really help you. You want to really focus on that and identify what is this interval and then select it and make sure that you're building confidence. Go between the piano keyboard and the notes and try to identify, are there 2 half steps in there? Is this just a half step? If there's 2 half steps, that's a whole step. So you can develop the skills to identify this. The identification of a major and a minor second will be the building block that you will build all other intervals on. Chords are built on the understanding of major and minor second. scales are built with the understanding of a major and a minor second. So I hope this helps you out. Go back to Canvas. If you're in my class, go back to Canvas and you'll find that there's a quiz there that aligns with this. Before you take the quiz though, go to musictheory.net and practice until you're really, really, really comfortable with major and minor seconds. Once you're comfortable with those, then everything else that we build beyond that point will become much easier. If you're just a guesser and you're just click, 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 yep, 50% of the time I'm guessing them correctly, woohoo, well, chances are as you move forward, your guessing is going to become far diminished, using a musical term, in its accuracy. So build accuracy first, take your time, speed will come. Thanks, I hope that this helped you understand the difference between a major second and a minor second, and we'll move on next time building major scales out of this understanding. So until next time, hope that you really enjoy making music. So get out there and make some music and have some fun.